Hello and welcome to the National League Rugby Review Show. Now, over the last few days, it's certainly been a cold one in certain parts of the country, but don't worry, we have some great action from levels 3 and 4 to warm you up. And as you can see behind me, we have a lovely spring afternoon here in Lancashire, and that is where our focus is this week. Last time out, we saw a top-of-the-table clash just up the road in Fylde as they took on Sedgley Park, but our attention this week is at the bottom of National 2 North as Preston Grasshoppers host Harrogate. The visitors from across the Pennines began the afternoon in the relegation places and 13 points from safety. Martin Wood's men have turned a corner in recent weeks with 3 successive home wins to keep them fighting for survival. However, Preston Grasshoppers, who are 1 place above the drop zone, have matched them all the way. Back-to-back victories on their own patch, combined with some strong performances away from home, have kept the host moving in the right direction, and a win against Harrogate would take the Lancashire outfit to within touching distance of safety, and all 5 points would also relegate rivals Blaydon. And it'll be Hoppers in their traditional white shirts and navy blue shorts to get us underway here at Lightfoot Green. A massive day in National 2 North awaits. Ionians rises highest for Preston. The early pressure coming from the home side in these opening exchanges. And Moulding's just trying to dig it out from the maul. He has done now. Here's Will Hunt, delays his pass slightly into Mayer. Mayer into his centre partner Brown, who runs through the gap. The perfect start for Preston. It's no problem for Will Hunt as Preston add the extras. A decent response for Harrogate, and it's Rory Menabe's turn from the tee. And he gets that. Can the visitors build from this? Well, Preston have got away with another scrappy line out there, and it's Norrington to carry forward now for the home side, still putting pressure on Harrogate. They look to go left now with Will Hunt. He's got Spence out wide. He goes inside though, and it's going to be Jake Mayer who dots down. And it will be Hunt over the tee again. And they double their advantage, Preston 14-3. So Preston enter the Harrogate 22. Here's Hunt, nice little kick through from the fly-off. It's mopped up well by McNabe by the looks of things. Preston have been really good in the fence in this opening half an hour or so, but they've been very clinical in this situation. Can they get a third try despite Harrogate trying to be inventive themselves? And it looks like the ball's now in the hands of Matt Woodward. Has he gone over? A few Preston players think he might have done. Not yet though. They're very, very close now. Our Hoppers to that third score in the opening 30 minutes here at Lightfoot Green. Have they got it? Yes, they have, and it's Alistair Murray. It's not the easiest kick in the world, this for Hunt, but it's 3 from 3 for the fly half, and it's 21-3 to Preston. I think it shows probably the importance of this victory for Preston, opting to go for a 3 here, and Hunt is a fair way out, but it's no problem for the fly-half. 24-3 now. Well, Preston have put themselves under a bit of unnecessary pressure at the start of this second half, and can Harrogate maybe take advantage of this opportunity, this gift given to them by the home side? And they're going very close here, and they are over with Percival by the looks of it. Well, it was a failure for Preston to clear the lines, and they've been punished with all 7 points because McNabe is successful with the conversion. Hoppers have done well to weather the storm since Murray was shown a yellow card about 10 minutes ago, and Hunt opts for the 3 points to keep them in front. It's under 10 minutes to go here at Lightfoot Green, and Harrogate find themselves in a promising position. A quick tap penalty there from Swanson into Brady. Al Sayed now picks and goes himself, does the Harrogate prop, and he makes some good yardage. Very well indeed. A crowd of bodies is there. Can Harrogate set up a bit of a tense and a bit of an exciting finish here in Lancashire? They go close once again. Brady has the ball now. Is he over the line? Can't tell from here. Is he over now? He is. Daniel Wood says so. So McNabe's cut the lead to 27-17. Can Harrogate come back and try and get something from this afternoon? And Preston have done well to keep Harrogate down this end of the field. Can they find a way over to get that bonus point, try and pick up all 5 points this afternoon? It's Proctor now going forward for Hoppers. They go very, very close, halted though by Harrogate on this occasion. Here's Thompson into Hunt. Hunt to Swarbrick. He's got options out wide. Is it going to go through the hands? It does do. And Ben Pearson is over. Well, this result for Preston not only leaves them within touching distance of safety, but they've also relegated Blaydon as Will Hunt adds the extras. A big win for Preston, but a serious dent to Harrogate's survival bid.
We're really, really happy with the boys. I mean, another home win for us. Bonus point, it's absolutely huge. In terms of our season, you know, that we've won. That's our third home win on the bounce. I think just in terms, it takes a little bit of pressure off us as well in terms of obviously league positions, points, things like that. Which just means we move a little bit further away from Harrogate now. So I think in terms of assessment of the performance, I think we made hard work out of it at times. We made some poor decisions in the second half, but we didn't give up, and we put ourselves in position at the end to get that bonus point, which again is really, really important. You know, looking at we always take it game by game, like you said. We don't look too far ahead because, like I said to you, they're all big games. Like at this level, they're all big games. But I do think it takes some pressure off us, definitely. Like, you know, I wouldn't say we're looking over our shoulder because, again, if we focus on us and what we do, then we'll be fine like we have been doing. But I think we're always mindful of where we are in the league. And, yeah, I think it does take a little bit of pressure off. I know Harrogate have got a game in hand. We're off next week. We get to recover and we get to just kind of sit back and watch that Huddersfield-Harrogate game.
We'll head back to National 2 North in a little while. But let's head to National 1 now. And we begin on Friday night, where Isha and Tynedale went head-to-head with both sides looking to boost their survival bids.
It was Friday night lights for Isha and Tynedale, and both teams knew how valuable a victory could be at Molesey Road. And it looked as though the hosts would be heading to the winners' lounge as Jack Rouse, Joe Parks and Miles Rawston-Rudd gave Isha a 22-5 lead at half-time. Since Nick Easter's arrival, Tynedale have displayed their powers of recovery on occasions, but this fightback might be the best of the lot. Grant Hughes and Mark Darlington both dotted down before a penalty try 5 minutes from time completed the turnaround and secured Tynedale arguably their most precious win of the season. Into Saturday's games now, an already relegated Hull travel to Cinderford, hoping to conclude their maiden National 1 campaign on a positive note. However, the home side were determined to end a 3-match losing streak and did so in ruthless fashion as William Haley, Jamie Forrester and Will Hendy went over in the first half. And Cinderford showed their dominance up front in the second 40 as George Angel and Nathan Taylor both dotted down from close range to wrap up the win. After a battling victory over Hull last time out, Sale FC were hoping for a much more straightforward afternoon when they welcomed Bishop Stortford to the northwest, and the promotion challengers started well as Jake Barron and Matt Bradley helped them into a 10-0 half-time lead. Following the break, Jonathan Keep's side kept themselves in the ascendancy as James Robbins scooted over on his 50th appearance and the bonus point was then secured before the hour. Alex Raymond did touch down for Bishop Stortford, but the host had the final say as Sale Sharks loanee Ben Bamber charged down a kick to score. Following Isha's earlier defeat to Tynedale, Taunton Titans had the opportunity to move out of the bottom three when they hosted Darlington Modern Park. Tony Yapp's side held a slender advantage heading into the sheds as Charlie Wright and Isaac Dalton both scored tries. DMP had won their last 4 matches heading into this one and reacted well with Ben Franklin and Louis Johnson going over to make it 17-12. But this tight contest was eventually opened up by Taunton as scores from Ratu Vakalutakali and Harry Strong were added to by 2 George Warboys penalties to clinch a vital win. And lastly, we head to Devon where after Sale FC's maximum against Bishop Stortford, Rams RFC were looking to follow suit away at Plymouth Albion. However, the league leaders were left with a mountain to climb after 37 minutes as tries from Harry Wilkinson, Kyle Spear and Jonathan Dorr gave Albion a stunning 24-5 advantage. And table toppers weren't going to throw in the towel and they set up a grandstand finish after Jack Rossiter and Robbie Stapley had gone over, but Rams were unable to complete the fight back as they fell to just their 3rd loss of the campaign. 2 games in National 1 were hampered by the cold temperatures, with Leeds Tykes versus Rosslyn Park and Cambridge versus Birmingham Moseley both postponed, but nevertheless the 3rd tier certainly delivered. Rams' defeat at Plymouth has blown open the title race with Sale now 6 points off the summit, and the top 2 also meet in the Northwest on April the 1st. Cambridge are 3rd, but Richie Williams' men now have a game in hand. At the bottom, Taunton have leapfrogged Isha out of the relegation zone, while successive bonus point wins for Tynedale means things are looking a little bit more rosy for Nick Easter's side.
Let's go back to National 2 North now, and we head to Chester, where they welcomed Hull Ionians to Hare Lane. We start in Chester for a showdown between 5th and 3rd. This game more than made up for the lack of rugby in National 2 North, with the lead fluctuating right up until the final whistle. Ionians blasted out to a 10-point advantage with scores from James Sanderson and Lewis Minikin, but Chester hauled themselves back into the contention thanks to 4 tries. Scott Robson, James Lloyd, Gethin Long and Tom Holloway all scored, but back came Hull Ionians. Alan Hudson and Sam Pocklington touched down for the visitors, but Luke Cox's try set up another tense finale at Hare Lane. Step forward, fly half Liam Reeve, as his late penalty secured the victory for Chester as they recorded a fourth straight home win. Up in the northeast, visiting Sedgley Park were unbeaten in 20 matches, and they led 11-0 after 42 minutes against Tynedale. With second place Fylde not in action, surely nothing would stop them from extending their lead at the summit. Enter Tynedale. After claiming the scalp of Fylde 2 weeks ago, going one better against the league leaders seemed to be asking too much, until they roared into life with 15 minutes to spare. Both Seamus Hutton and Jake Rogers scored to leave the table toppers stunned. With 4 postponements across National 2 North, there were only 3 games, but there was no shortage of drama whatsoever. At the summit, Sedgley's loss to Tynedale means the gap is now only 7 points, with the top 2 equal in terms of games played. The Tigers are also in action this coming weekend against Hull Ionians. At the bottom, Preston's win in our key game leaves them all but safe, but you feel Harrogate must beat Huddersfield in their game in hand on Saturday to stand any chance of catching Hoppers. Despite Bladen not being in action, Preston's result means the North East side have been relegated. From the north to the east we go, and we head to the capital, where an informed Barnside hosted already relegated Westcliff.
After having their relegation confirmed last weekend, Westcliff headed to the capital to take on a Barnside who were searching for a 6th win from their last 7 matches. And unfortunately for the visitors, this went the way of the form guide, as the free-scoring home side were at it again in round 22. Barnes ran in a total of 13 tries, with Devlin Hope and Jordan Suter scoring 2 each in the first half. The hosts racked up a 40-0 lead and continued to dominate in the second period as they crossed the whitewash on 7 occasions. Blackheath's immediate promotion back to National 1 is gradually looking more and more likely, but they had to come from behind to secure their 12th successive win. The last team to beat the league leaders were Tunbridge Judians, and the Kent outfit caused the table toppers problems in the opening quarter. TJs capitalised on a very early yellow card shown to Alex Brown, as Brian Hodson, Duncan Tout and Hugo Watson all scored to make it 19-3. However, James Shanahan's side recovered as scrum half Jack Daly scored a brace before the break. Blackheath then turned on the style to score 4 unanswered tries, including efforts from Brown and Harry Holland, as the hosts powered to victory. Blackheath's next opponents are Bury St Edmunds, and the promotion favourites will be in for a tricky test as Jacob Ford's men continued their impressive form. They visited Canterbury in round 22 but found themselves 11-7 down at the break. But the Wolfpack highlighted why they had lost just 1 of their last 8 games, as 2 tries in 11 minutes from fullback Charlie Reid, as well as Matt Bursey's effort, was enough for the win as Bury moved into the top 4. That is because Dorking were unable to arrest their recent dip in form, as the Red and Whites were beaten by Henley Hawks on their own patch. It looked like it was going to be a good afternoon for the hosts when Jasper King and Daniel Riches crossed inside the first 12 minutes, but that was as good as it got for Dorking. Henley started to work their way back into this contest and were level at half-time, thanks to scores from Lewis Flynn and Ewan Fenley. Adam Hakimian's try then gave the away side the lead, and despite 2 yellow cards for the visitors in the second period, Dorking were unable to trouble the scoreboard as they fell to another narrow defeat. Our final 3 games focus on the relegation fight, and we begin with Rochford 100, who entertained Old Albanian. After shipping 52 points against Bury St Edmunds last week, things didn't begin well for the hosts, as Jordan Evans and Toby Ponsford both crossed to give OAs a 14-0 lead after 16 minutes. But Rochford roared back and levelled things up before the half-time Oranges as Torin Henwood and Mark David Ichhiffer raced over. Ben Alexander and Ichhiffer swapped scores in the second period, but despite the best efforts of both sides, the spoils were shared, meaning Rochford picked up 2 points to add to their survival bid. Sevenoaks began the afternoon 3 points clear of the drop and were looking to halt a run of 4 straight losses when Guernsey Raiders arrived in Kent. And the home side held a slender 3-point lead at the break as Matt Creeber's try was cancelled out by Aidan Higgins and Elliot Munnally. Ben Adams and Anthony Armstrong then exchanged scores before the Sevenoaks man crossed for a brilliant try. Raiders did respond via Brad Webb, but Sevenoaks were able to see out what could prove to be a precious victory.
Really clunky from us. We've failed again to get up for these away games, and it's always after having big home games. We knock off a top 3 side, then we come against Sevenoaks and we just perform pretty poorly. But, credit to Sevenoaks. I mean, they stuck at it. We said they were going to have high energy for 80 minutes, and they did. I think for us, if you look at where we were at Dorking, very clinical performance. Our skill set was right on point. Come here this week and we're about a third of the effort that we put in over there. So it's something that we've been dealing with all season, and hopefully we can, draw a line in it in the summer and effectively be better come 23-24.
And finally, we end with North Walsham, who occupy a spot in the relegation places. And after running Blackheath close in round 21, they were hoping to do the same against second-placed Worthing. However, the Raiders flew out of the blocks as Curtis Barnes scored 4 first-half tries, including a 12-minute hat-trick to help his side into a 31-7 lead. North Walsham did score twice before the break, but Worthing kept their foot on the accelerator as opposite winger Tom Bowen scored twice. But the away side didn't leave Sussex empty-handed, as a second try from Matt Hodgson and a score from Frank Scott secured them a bonus point. All 7 fixtures in National 2 East avoided any of the disruption caused by the weather, as round 22 offered up some intriguing results. There was once again no change at the summit, with Blackheath leading the way by 12 points. The table toppers can't win the title next weekend when they fulfil their game in hand against Bury St Edmunds, but could clinch promotion on March the 25th. The picture at the bottom seems less certain though, as Rochford 100's draw means they're now 2 points clear of the relegation zone, while Sevenoaks were the big winners of the weekend after their victory against Guernsey Raiders.
Finally, we head to National 2 West, where 3 wins from the last 4 games have significantly boosted Newport Salop's survival hopes. In round 22, they visited Hinckley. Newport's upturning form has seen them create a cushion between themselves and the drop zone, and they may have fancied their chances of keeping the good vibes going when Hinckley winger Luke Hibbard was sent off for 2 yellow card offences after just 25 minutes. However, Hinckley managed to lead 19-12 at the break, thanks to a penalty try and scores from Rory Vowles and Matt Guilfoyle, while Finlay Barnes and Josh Kent went over for Newport. But despite having one less man, Hinckley were able to close the game out, as Oscar Harper and Mitch Lamb helped the home side bounce back after 2 losses. Like Newport, Hornets began the afternoon 11 points clear of the bottom 2, and they were looking to maintain or even extend that nice gap when they hosted Luctonians in round 22. The visitors headed into this one with 4 successive wins under their belt, and they led 14-7 at the interval, with Aidan Cheshire and James Wheeler crossing for Ryan Watkins' side. Seb Robinson Hall and Hornets' Eric Lutzke swapped scores in the second period before another one for Cheshire secured the bonus point success for Luctonians. After scoring 23 tries in their last 3 games, Dean Crusaders were looking to entertain once again when they visited Exeter University. And like the reverse fixture between the pair, this was a cracker, and the Crusaders held a narrow 1-point lead at half-time, following scores from Joe Hawksby, Oliver Milner and Chris Rovey. Exeter had crossed with the help of Sam Walker and Ed Volley, but a second score for Hawksby sealed Dings' 4th win from their last 5 games in National 2 West. Stourbridge headed into this meeting with Old Redcliffians, knowing they could be relegated if results didn't go the way of the division's bottom club. Neil Mitchell's men knew a victory would keep their hopes of pulling off a stunning escape alive, and 4 penalties from the boot of Ricky Alley and a Dallas Aurora try gave Stour a 19-3 lead. Sam Reese's effort, followed by Edward Harvey's score 8 minutes from time, set up a tense finish in the Midlands, but Stour's defence's efforts helped them over the line at Stourton Park. Bourneville could have relegated Stourbridge if they had picked up 2 or more points than their Midlands counterparts, but in the end, it was just 2 points that the Chocos were able to collect against Loughborough students. The visitors had set themselves up well for a 3rd straight win when Sam Grimshaw and Sam Shepherd went over, but Loughborough fought back and scored 4 tries, with Josh Tazula touching down for 31-24. This gripping contest then went level at 36-all thanks to Sam Harrington's try, but a penalty right at the left from Tom Smith snatched it for Loughborough. Our last 2 games focus on the title race, and you get the feeling it will be a matter of when, not if, Leicester Lions will secure promotion to National 1. Visiting Red Roof is never easy, but the league leaders made light work of their hosts and the weather conditions as Ollie Taylor, James Stubbs, Luke Bouchier and Nick Cairns crossed before the hour. The home side then got on the board via Sam Stevens, but the Lions made sure they secured their 16th win on the trot when Cairns grabbed his second a minute from the end. Second place Clifton are still digging in and have at least taken the promotion battle to round 23 after collecting a bonus point win against Barnstaple at Station Road. Dan Brodie and Will Owen scored before the half-hour mark to get the Lavender and Blacks off to a neat start before Barnstaple replied via the tee. The visitors are still firmly embroiled in this fight for survival, but departed Bristol with nothing as a brace from Alex Howman sealed the bonus point triumph for Clifton. Like in the East, all 7 matches in the West went ahead as we roar towards the final 4 games or so in this campaign. Leicester Lions remain 16 points clear at the top and can win the title on March 25th if they are victorious against Loughborough Students, while a nice fight for a top 4 finish is developing. Down at the bottom, Stourbridge live to fight another day, following their win over Old Redcliffians. Barnstable's latest defeat leaves them 5 points from safety after Bourneville took another couple of steps towards booking their place at level 4 for next season. Well, that's it for Lightfoot Green, where Preston have taken another step in the right direction whilst it's still all to do for Harrogate. We'll see you next time.